you, but I kind of didn't really think quicksand was real. Like, I've never come across quicksand, so I don't really know much about it, right? But here's my story, spilling the tea about quicksand. Now I'm driving home, so I have to put you there and not touch the phone. I'll turn the aircon off because it's a bit cool. It is kind of schooly time, so there's a bit of traffic on the road. Let's get into the traffic first. All right, so this story actually is not from overseas. This is a local story. Hey, how you going? This is a local story from the island of K'gari. Now, if you're a traveller, a backpacker, you will be familiar with Fraser Island. Fraser Island is an island north of Brisbane, about 3 hours north of Brisbane. It's in it's off the coastline of Hervey Bay. It's actually, the actual native name is called K'gari, K-Gari, K'gari. It's an Aboriginal name, but Fraser Island is the name that a lot of people know it as. So I like to use it like to use the local name K'gari because it's a nice name, right? Now I've only ever been to this island once. Okay, I actually feel embarrassed if I've only been to it once because if you talk to backpackers that come to Australia, they've all been to Fraser Island, K'gari. All of them, not all of them, but I'm generalising. But most people, backpackers, will go for at least a couple of days in K'gari because it's a very, very it's the biggest sand island in the world. Put it that way. Its claim for fame is it's the biggest sand island in the world. So it's got some marks to see, right? And it's not far from Australia. It's like literally like a 20-minute ferry ride over. So it's not that far. And Hervey Bay, where it's kind of based, is quite a popular place for whale watching, and it's a big backpacker place too. And it's on your way up to like Ellie Beach, the Whitsundays, so the Great Barrier Reef area. So it's not far. So it's really quite a nice area. So I was there doing my first ever solo backpacking, hiking backpacking adventure. Now, I joined a tour, so to speak, with two other ladies that were also traveling by themselves solo. And yeah, we basically joined up and we did this hiking supported walk. So basically, a hiking supported walk is you don't have a guide with you, but you have support, as in like someone drives us over there. So we put the ferry over. We're in a 4-wheel drive. We have our clothes, but we're not walking with our clothes. We're walking with our day packs. Our support worker or support person in this 4-wheel drive, because this is a 4-wheel drive island. So because it's the biggest sand island in the world, there's actually no paved roads. The only paved road is actually at the resort. There's a resort there that you basically get on the ferry, go to Kingfisher Island, Kingfisher Resort. There's some roads there, but only in the little resort area, and then you drive through there, and then you basically hit sand. So you need a 4-wheel drive. And so this 4-wheel drive drove us to the starting point of this walk. So K'gari has, they call it one of the Great Walks. So all around Australia, they've got these walks called the Great Walks, and there's many of them around. But they're normally like 3 or 4 days hikes, and you camp in between all the little locations. So we were camping, but we were trying to cheating kind of thing. So basically, what we were doing, we were walking, meeting up at a certain place. We'd find our backpack, the guy would set up our tent, and we would have to cook our food. They provided the food. So basically, it was like that's what they mean by supported. So basically, you're doing it yourself, but basically supporting you there. Now, this didn't go to plan because it rained its ass off, like so badly. And I don't know if it was like the guy that was setting up the tents or if the tents were shit, but the tents were completely wet. So we turn up after our first day of walking, like absolutely exhausted, and it is bucketing down. And our tents, we go to put our big backpacks in our tents, and it's wet all inside the tent. So you can imagine, like, how are we going to sleep in a tent that's all wet? So I'm like, okay, this is not going to work. So we're kind of saying to the guy, hey, mate, like, the tents are, like, we're paid for a tent to be set up so we could sleep in it. It's not going to be, we're not going to be able to sleep in it because it's wet. And we're like, it's so raining that we're thinking, like, we're going to have to sleep in the toilets. It's that bad. So anyway, the guy goes, look, we'll sort it out. And he takes us to a backpacker hostel. So he was staying at a backpacker hostel. We ended up getting his backpacker room and we stayed in his room, but he didn't stay with us, obviously. So anyway, we did a walk and it was amazing. Absolutely fantastic. If you've ever got the opportunity to go to Kagari, Fraser Island, man, do yourself a favour, go. Now, this was now about 5 years ago for me. I need to go back. Honestly, it is such an island. It is beautiful. Surrounded, like, it's a bit dangerous too. Like, there's dingoes. So this island's got dingoes, so you got to be careful. You've got sharks, potentially got alligator, like, crocodiles at the top, potentially, and also irigani jellyfish. So going for a swim off the beach, you could get bitten by a dingo or a shark, potentially get bitten by an irigani jellyfish, and you got to be careful because it could be a crocodile. So yeah, you're not really going to swim. Just saying. But this island has obviously so much sand, right? It has beautiful lake, the beautiful beach slash lake that has got turquoise water. Turquoise water. It's absolutely spectacular. Like I talk about traveling my own backyard. Hmm, I just cut out. Damn it. Hopefully I've come back. Anyway, in my own backyard, like 3 hours away from where I live, is something like absolutely spectacular where people from all around the world travel to. So like, why don't more people like myself from Australia go there? It's hard to get to. I'll be honest, it's not exactly an easy place. Like, it's off the beaten track. Like, if you're going to Harvey Bay, it's great. The Sunday Islands, which I've done before, driving like a road trip. It's off the beaten path. You don't drive past the island, so you actually got to go via to get out there. So it's not exactly an easy location, and plus because you need a car, like a four-wheel drive, it's not easy also because, for example, I don't have a four-wheel drive. Diego has a four-wheel drive, but even Diego's a little bit like, not sure if I really want to go on that island because, um, well, if you if you break down, you're screwed because like it's very expensive to get help. Um, as in like, it's an island, it's a private island. Petrol is really expensive if you get bogged because many people get bogged in the sand. Because like I said, this is the biggest sand island in the world. Hence why I'm talking about a trip about sand, quicksand. I'm getting to the story, okay? I'm just trying to build it up that there's a lot of sand on this island. So like driving on this island is not easy, right? So Diego's got quite a heavy car. Um, so, you go through sand, it's going to sink quite quickly. Even though it's got a lot of power, but you can get bogged in the sand quite easily. So you really do have to have your wits about you. You need to know how to drive cars on on sand. I mean, most guys know how to do it, but like, most guys are also silly too, right? Sorry if you're a guy. But like, they're, oh yeah, no, we can do this, and then they get bogged. Now you can actually see, like, you can actually Google Fraser Island cars getting bogged. Because unfortunately I call it Kagari, but it's called Fraser Island. Fraser Island cars getting bogged, and you will see cars literally covered by the sea, getting stuck between rocks. Like, so basically, this is the challenge. You're going along the beach, right? And if high tide's coming up, there's no beach. Okay, so you've got to be smart, right? You've got to check the tides. Not a lot of people are smart. I'm just being honest. This is how people get bogged. So basically, you're like basically playing Russian roulette. You're thinking, you know what? I've got time. I've got time. Sometimes you don't have time. So you're going through, and sometimes you've got a point to like no return. You get through one section, you can't go back because it's going to be like getting too high tide behind you. So you're just like, I'm just going to gun it, right? And then you're going through rocks. It's actually a place called Coffin Rocks. Coffin Rocks is very, very appropriately named because it basically turns into a coffin, as in like cars' coffin. So basically, cars come through, they get stuck in the rocks because they've taken it too, like they've taken it too short, as in like they thought they'd get through with high tide, they didn't, and then the tide comes in and they just get washed out, the cars. So yeah, so it's pretty, it's pretty hairy. Like I said, it's not for the weak-hearted. Many tourists will hire four-wheel drives to go on the island, and guess what? They absolutely ruin the four-wheel drive, and then they have to pay like shitloads of money. The insurance to actually go on the island is like beyond relief, like it's ridiculous, because they know there's a high chance that you're going to stuff the car. So, like I said, if I'm painting the picture that this island is not an easy island to get to, because of the, you need a four-wheel drive and you need to be quite smart about how you drive. That's the point I'm taking, right? Now, so I'm trying to tell you that there's a lot of sand. It's the biggest sand island in the world. So, I had an amazing time hiking in the sand, walking. Didn't see any dingoes, which is nice. I'm glad I didn't see a dingo. So basically, you're not allowed to hike by yourself, because if you hike by yourself, the dingoes will hunt you. So that's why you hike with people. And we're told, we're given some bit of guidance that if you see a dingo, don't run. Stand your ground, stand tall. So get a stick, like we're going to have a hiking stick with us. You put the stick up in front of you, not like to hit it, but you stand it up in front of you, like your extension of your arm, so you look tall. I know it sounds weird, but like look tall and don't run. So, and then basically the dingo will kind of go, that person looks a bit big, stay away from that person. So yeah, apparently that's what it is. And then we also have a whistle. So you had a whistle like to kind of distract the dingo. So I'm probably not painting a picture of like a very an island you want to go to. But like I said, the island is spectacular. The hiking there is amazing. Driving on the beach at low tide is phenomenal. So like I said, the problems happen when you're coming up to high tide because there's not enough beach, right? The dingoes are an issue. There is some issues with dingoes there, and there's sharks. Yeah, and there's not much reception on the island too. So if you get in trouble, there's no one to call. So yeah, as I said, it's pretty remote. It's a national park, but there's a lot of sand. Now, at the end of my trip, I ended up I stayed at the resort, which is called Kingfisher Resort. I had a girlfriend come meet me, so she was at the resort already, and I met up with her at the end of my hiking trip. Now, on my last day of the hike, I checked into my hotel room, and before my friends that I met went back onto the mainland, we wanted to finish one last hike, which is kind of around the beach of where the resort is. And the beach is like the resort is like an eco resort, so it's not like big high rises on the beach or anything like that. No, it's all very eco friendly, all about the environment. So it's really really nice. So anyway, so my friend and my two friends and myself left my friend in the hotel room, and we went hiking. Now, around the resort, you have reception. I did take my phone with me. So anyway, we're walking around, and it's kind of very overcast and kind of miserable kind of day. So anyway, we're doing this walk, and I get this, I can kind of like, we're on these sand flats, right? And I can see people in the distance, kind of in front of us, kind of thing. But I can't make them out, right? So I just see people, right? Anyway, I get a phone call on my phone, and it's my friend Michelle, and she's Michelle that I was at the resort with in the hotel room. Now, let me just tell you, my friend does not walk. She is not a walker of any description. At the time, she was quite overweight. She needed to get 2 knee reconstructions. It just tells you how overweight she was, and how, not overweight, but like she needed, she couldn't walk far because she did need, knee reconstructions or knee replacements. So anyway, I get a phone call from her, and she goes, "Hey, you need to help me." I'm like, "Okay, what's up?" And she's like, "I'm out in the water. I'm literally sinking." I'm like, "Wait on, what are you talking about? I just left you in the hotel room." She goes, no, I'm in front of you. I've been waving at you. You can't see me. I'm out there. I'm like, I'm looking out there. I can't see anything. She's like, I can see you. I'm waving at you. She goes, I'm stuck in quicksand. I'm not legitimately can't get out. And I'm like, as I said, quicksand's one of those things that you just haven't heard of. I mean, like you've heard of, but you're like, I've never seen it, right? So I'm like, what do you mean you're stuck in quicksand? And my friends are listening to this conversation. They're like, what do you mean she's stuck in quicksand? And they met my friend. Like they knew she wasn't a hiker or anything. They're like, what the hell would she be doing out in this middle of this sandbank kind of thing, stuck in sand? And we're like, I'm still like trying to get my head around it. Going, she's like, no, seriously, I need help. Can you come? Like, I can't get out. I can't get out. I'm like, holy shit. Okay, she's actually stuck in sand. Like, she's actually in quicksand. She goes, I said, are you okay? She's like, I'm okay. I said, but I can't get out. I'm in quicksand. I can't get out. I'm like, oh, okay, righto. Anyway, my friend's like, okay, I'll go to her. Like, we can kind of like walking and we can try and get to you. But anyway, when we're trying to do it, trying to get to her, there's actually I guess a river that we had to cross. And we were like thinking, okay, wait on. The worst thing you do is to go save someone and then you get stuck also. And I'm like, okay, don't do that because everyone's gonna get stuck and then we're all screwed, right? So I'm like, okay. So I ring the hotel and I'm like, I don't even know what to say. I'm like, hi, I'm staying at your hotel. My friend is stuck in quicksand, literally. And they're like, they weren't surprised. I was like, oh, okay. They said, yep, just tell her to stay still. Don't move. Don't wiggle. Just stay still. Don't stress. We're coming. And now my friend's also saying, hey, the tide's coming up too. So like she's stuck in sand and there's tide coming up. So she's like scared that she's going to get like drowned because she can't get out of the water. So it's kind of becoming a little bit of a like, I'm kind of like joking about it, but at the same time, it's actually quite serious, right? So we see in the distance a boat coming, like a little tinny kind of coming, and a guy, you know, he actually had my phone number. He goes, where is she? I said, well, I can see her out there. And I'm kind of waving on the beach at him. And he's like, okay, I can see you. Okay, she's out there. Right. Okay. Yep. I'll go find her. So we're watching him find her. And like, we can't exactly see him pulling her out, obviously. But we see her now in the boat coming towards like down to the beach near the front of the resort. So we're like walking towards that way. Anyway, she comes in and she's, of all things, she's wearing all white. I'm pissing myself laughing now because she's wearing all white. And like, I'm laughing now because like, and laughing at the time because like she's safe, right? She's safe. Now the danger's over. Like, I'm just laughing at the fact that my friend was walking, that she got stuck in quicksand. Like, who the hell? Like, I've never heard of anyone getting stuck in quicksand. I'd love to know. Have you ever heard of anyone getting stuck in quicksand? Have you ever got stuck in quicksand? I honestly didn't think it was a real thing. I mean, I knew it was a thing, but I haven't heard of that ever happening. So anyway, I'm laughing at my friend. Like my two friends that were with me, they don't really know her to laugh. So I'm like, what the hell? She's got this white outfit on and she's got like sand, like, you know, like looks like poo, right? Poo, like sand all covered over her. Like she's been like in the mud, literally. And she's just like shaking her head going, I can't believe that just happened. Like, you saved me. And I'm like, God, that's a bit dramatic, right? That's a bit dramatic. Hey, Em, how you going? I can't see who else is there. I'm sorry, but hi. Talking about quicksand. So anyway, she's like, honestly, you saved my life. I thought I was going to die. She goes, thank God I could get, you know, reception because, you know, like I said, I was just talking that there's not very good reception on this island. So the fact that she actually got reception was amazing because otherwise she could have literally, technically, drowned in quicksand while the tide was coming up. So to be dramatic, quicksand is quite dangerous. um, and yeah, that's my spilling the tea story. An island off 3 hours off where I live, north, an island called K'gari, formerly known as Fraser Island. Hopefully I'm back on reception. The reason why I'm telling this story, right, is because this morning I went to the beach and saw the sunrise and had a beautiful morning. I'm actually going to put a video out tonight, guys, or the morning for you guys, showing my morning. I didn't do a live stream this morning, guys. I normally on a Tuesday do Pilates, but this morning I went, you know what? I'm going to have a time to myself this morning. I went to the beach, I watched the sunrise, I did a jumping for joy, I did my gratefulness, and I did some steel drumming. And it was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. But when I was driving home from the beach, on the radio, they were talking about someone got stuck in quicksand. And so it kind of quick, it got my attention. And they said, does anyone really know what to do if you got caught in quicksand? And because this apparently happened down in South Australia. So again, it's very rare to get done, like to get caught in quicksand. It's not really a thing that happens very often, right? So that's why they were talking about it on the radio, like this person got stuck in quicksand. So I was like listening, going, yeah, what do they do? Like they were saying, what do you do if you get stuck in quicksand? Like, what do you do? And they apparently say, don't wiggle around. If you wiggle around, you actually get like more stuck. So they actually said, if you ever get stuck in quicksand, obviously the first thing they're going to say is don't stress. I mean, like really, like I mean, how can you not stress? You're getting stuck, sinking in quicksand, like freak. I'd be like like my friend was. But apparently, what you do is you lie back. Like I mean, even though your legs are stuck in, apparently you're supposed to lie like your lizard legs. You're supposed to lie back because your back is a big surface area. So you lie back, and it's supposed to help float you out. I don't know if that's true or false, guys. No idea. But that's what I heard this morning on the radio, which prompted me to think, well, you know what? My spilling the tea today, spilling the tea, is about a travel story when I did my first hiking tour, so to speak. Yeah, first hiking tour solo, and I met some amazing friends. And two of them, well, they're still really good friends of mine. One of them is really one of my good hiking buddies now. But yeah, we ended up on Kagari, and at the end of that trip, I met up with one of my girlfriends, Michelle, at the resort. And yeah, she decided to go for a random walk, which is so out of like she doesn't walk. There's some people that just don't ever walk. And yep, she decided to take herself on a little nature walk and got stuck in quicksand. So put it this way, she's not a keen hiker at all. Ever since that happened, she's like, you can't pay me to go hiking. She goes, no fucking chance. And when I've seen her father, I think I was at a wedding or something. Oh no, I was at a wedding or a birthday party of hers, and her father said, "Oh my God, you're the Muriara that saved my daughter." And I'm like, that's a bit dramatic. I said, I didn't save your daughter. He goes, honestly, if you didn't answer the phone, my daughter might have died. I laugh, but it's not funny. I know it's not funny, but it's funny. You know what I'm saying? It's a serious thing. Like, as I said, it was pretty dire. And yeah, I mean, I've never got stuck in quicksand. I mean, there's a couple of times at the beach down at Redcliffe where I live that when the sand is quite soft, you do sink down quite a lot, but you don't sink too far down. Like, you might sink down to your knees. That's about it. So for a second, you feel like you're falling, but otherwise, no, I haven't experienced quicksand. So yeah, that is my experience. That is my travel story of spilling the tea, quicksand. By God. So I'd love to know, if you're watching this on a replay, put in the comments if you know anything about quicksand, because like I said, I had no idea. And like I'm just, I guess, to note to self or tip, if you ever did get stuck in quicksand, don't well, it's easy to say don't stress because you get to stress, right? Let's face it. But they say don't move around too much because you're going to actually probably fall in and get stuck more. But to lean back on your back, that's apparently what you're supposed to do. Lean back on your back and hope to hell you get out, or someone's going to come save you in that time. So anyway, I'm literally nearly home, and here in Australia you can't touch the phone, so I'm not going to touch the phone. I see a few people there. I'm not sure if it was M or I don't know. It looked like Kathleen on her chat. I heard Kathleen on her um, just come in. Diego has just put a new door up. Actually, I'm not going to show you the door, just out of safety, as Nicholas hates me saying, health and safety. Let me just see what the chat says here. I can only see it when I hold this back. Of course, I can't even read it. Oh, it's Philip. Hey, Philip, how you going? And I don't know who else was there. Em's just saying, hey, chat. Anyway, guys, Philip. Well, I'm really glad I know, because next time I purchase my backpack. Okay, I don't really understand that. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go. Thanks for watching. Spilling the tea. Bye.